Let's get started. Welcome to today's webinar on the future of visual inspection, how AI and large vision model advance industry inspection, hosted by Lending AI and Capgemini. During the presentation, if you have any question, please utilize the Q&A button on Zoom. We will address them after the presentation as time permits. Now, without further ado, I will hand over the mic to Àlex.
Thank you, Grace. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for coming today, because we will have, I think, the opportunity to get valuable insights and perspective from the best in the field. And we hope that you enjoy this afternoon with the topic that we're going to cover today during the next 55 minutes. And according to the agenda, we're going to talk about the future of inspection, as Grace told before, and how artificial intelligence and large vision models advances industry inspections, divided in 4 interventions. And at the end, we will listen to recorded customer testimonials according to their experiences using the solution presented today, and question and answers like time before ending. Of course, first of all, Darren and Cal, welcome and thank you for joining with us today. And Marcos is coming, but we can start without problem. As a head of innovation and applied innovation exchange in Spain, let me take 5 minutes to explain a little bit what is the role of innovation in front of a collaborative projects, as like the one we're going to talk about today. And yes, Grace, if you start to share your screen. Okay, and let's skip to, first of all, yeah, the next one. Okay, thank you. And let's start to talk about what is innovation about in our perspective. Next one, please, Grace. And it makes sense, the innovation, it makes sense for us when you have the opportunity to apply direct to the business, because you know before the business needs, you know your sector and your market that you are involved in, and you identify the needs to implement the solution, the final solution. And the way to do it, you have 2 options. Maybe do it for yourself with your own resources, knowledge, I don't know, platforms, technology, or whatever, or maybe open innovation practices according to the market. It is important to know how many people and how kind of companies are around us that maybe they can provide us the platforms, the technologies, the knowledge, or maybe an experts in a specific films that we need to implement the final solution. And next one, please. And all of it is important because when you apply innovation, you can measure the result. And that's the reason why Capgemini, we really think that innovation have to interact with technology in order to know what kind of technologies are around us that we can apply direct to the solution and to reduce the time to market, to do it better, the final solution, or maybe to prove new ways to do or new ways to implement the innovation. And at the same time, we were talking before, important to find out the best partner in the market that can cover as a part of the solution, like, for example, landing. That's a very good example to implement the final solution. Next one, please, Grace. And when you do it, here you have the technology map. It depends on the maturity of each technology, and maybe you have the opportunity to prove before what kind of technology will better to implement the final solution. And the next one, Grace. And at the same time, you can make your own ecosystem design, according that Darren is going to talk about and getting into more details. But here you have the opportunity to identify what kind of partner you need for each situation, right? Maybe a companies like lending, for example, and maybe in a public administration, universities, or other ones like hyperscalers like Microsoft or Google Cloud. Why not, right? Next one, please, Grace. Nevertheless, according to the definition, you can do it for yourself. And we have the opportunity in Capgemini to prove different technologies. And in our labs, we have more than 90 labs around the world, and IT capabilities to implement whatever solution we want to, because we have 150 centers of excellence in IT specialization in different fields. And at the same time, it is important, according to the first definition, to know the market that you are involved in. That's the reason why Capgemini Research Institute sent us 25 reports per year in order to get more information about the markets we are involved in order to get more information about the trends, about the main challenges that all our customers have. Next one, please, Grace. And all of it is in order to cover all the cycle of innovation from ideation to implementation, because it's a very good opportunity for us to become innovation a real tool to implement a solution and a real tool to transform your business, to reduce maybe your internal cost, to improve your internal processes, or maybe to get more quota of market, open new markets, or grow in your segmentation. That's the key point to the innovation. And that's it from my side. Thank you so much for your attention. And now it's time to talk with Darren.
Thank you,
Darren,
Àlex. Thank you, Àlex. Thank you very much.
Darren, yeah, Darren, let me introduce a little bit about you talk about. And Darren is going to talk about the power of open innovation under Capgemini Ventures program. Darren heads up the Global Startup Catalyst program within Capgemini Ventures, and he loves working within the innovation and startups domain, right, Darren?
Very much.
As it gives him the opportunity to meet superstars company who are helping us shape the future. And Darren, now the microphone is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, Àlex. Thank you, Àlex. And yeah, nice introduction. And absolutely, I mean, working in the space that I do within Capgemini Ventures, like you say, does give me the opportunity to work with some real superstars. One of which, we're gonna be talking about very shortly. But before we dive into the landing AI use case, we just wanted to really give you a point of view of what we do within Capgemini when it comes to startups. So I work within Capgemini Ventures, which is the part of Capgemini, which is put in place to help our clients to co-create basically and deliver value with startups. If you move on to the next slide, please. And ultimately, what we believe is that co-innovation is a key lever for every organization to identify and realize value. We believe that out in the world of startups, this is from a ventures perspective, there are a number of disruptive solutions that are being created by some of these superstar companies that will disrupt industries. And so we believe every organization should have a co-innovation strategy to help them take advantage of that opportunity which is out there. And that's one of the reasons why Capgemini Ventures was born. So if you move on to the next slide, just to give you a flavor, within Capgemini, we really have embedded ourselves into the world of startups, or imprinted ourselves into the world of startups. This is just an example of some of the areas in which we have integrated ourselves, and some of the logos that we work with. So to give you an idea, we create collaborations, partnerships, we do engagements with startups, and we have a variety of them that we've injected into our go-to-market offerings that we then push on to our clients. And you'll hear about an example very shortly of what we've done with landing AI. We also have a number of key partnerships with some key players who help us work with startups in different ways. A piece we also do, and a lot of people may not know about, is we also make minority investments into startups. So we have a portfolio of companies that we invest in. And then we work with Àlex, a number of accelerators to help startups grow. And we have a number of relationships with a number of the organizations who do that. And then we also participate in a number of different events around the world. And our footprint continues to grow. If you move on to the next slide, please. And really just the essence. So Startup Catalyst is a program that we have within Capgemini. And what we do with Startup Catalyst is we really do three things. We take problems or challenges or opportunities from our clients, from our Capgemini stakeholders, and we identify some of the best startups around the world. And then we bring them into what we then push to our clients. But one of the other things we do is we don't just push any startups to our clients. We also make sure that they are fit for purpose. So we do some light evaluations, some light assessments of startups, because we want to make sure that what we are pushing to our clients isn't going to introduce any additional or unneeded risk. And then the third thing we do is we also partner and we collaborate. So we make sure that when we are working with these startups, once we've assessed them or evaluated them, we make sure that we put in the right legal mechanisms to enable us and our clients to work with them in a safe way. And that is a program we have. You're going to hear all about Landing AI shortly, but we have a number of startups like Landing AI that we work with in this space, because our agenda is really about finding these really cool superstars from around the world and injecting them into our clients, so they can realize the value of them. And that is all I will say. So I'll hand back to you, Àlex.
Thank you, Darren, for your clear explanation. And for all of you, here is an example of how we can cover the end-to-end of innovation according that we were talking before, from ideation to implementation, using the combination resources with our own and with others from ecosystems. And now it's time to talk with Marcos. Marcos, welcome. You are here. Marcos is Principal Digital Engineering and Manufacturing in Capgemini. And Marcos has extensive experience helping customers in different areas. And the recent years, he has been focusing on building end-to-end solutions that make inspection and quality control more agile and effective, and being the core of solutions deep learning based on computer vision, Lens, and Landing Lens. And Marcos, go ahead.
Hi everybody. Thanks. So actually, this program that Capgemini has, it's for innovation for startups, for us is key, because it was in the very origin of what we are doing now quite successfully, I would say, which is basically we are trying to make actionable computer vision based on AI, which is the real challenge, right? For the time being, you can come across many proof of concepts, many projects, laboratory projects, I would say. And the challenge is how to move forward with them and going live with those projects. That's the real challenge. So that's what I would like to share here, what we do in that field. So if Àlex, can you please move next one, please? So this is basically, this image you are seeing here is basically research science. This comes from a data set you can download yourself from GitHub. So basically it's a data set, image set of different insulators, which are part of electrical towers. These types of devices tend to have a number of anomalies Sometimes there are missing disks there, and that's a real issue. You need to identify as soon as possible during your inspections. And if you can identify many AI models out there from universities trying to identify these kind of anomalies, and this is a typical image you can identify, or you can find used by these universities to train the model. But this is, if you train the models AI with this kind of image, that's great, that's good. But Àlex, if you go to next slide, this is typically what we find. So you can see here that there's no more these clear pictures of insulators in that case that you can see with high quality and quite easy to see and understand. What you typically find is image similar to this one when it comes to visual inspections with AI of electrical towers. And that's a real challenge. And typical models you used before were not useful anymore. So in the end, what we find in real situations is issues and tough, so to speak, tough to address backgrounds, quality, distance. Also, I would say that thanks God there are not many defects in this kind of infrastructure. Otherwise, that could be a real nightmare. So we need to deal with reduced sets of images with defects in order to train AI models. And then in the end, you need to provide quite an amount of images, and you need to train them. So you need some sort of tool in which you which you use to label all those images quite easily. Then you need to integrate, because if you want to provide an end-to-end solution, you need to integrate your AI models or to put your AI models inside a larger solution and integrate with other systems, which typically are legacy systems, and deal with legacy processes. Sometimes those legacy processes are not the best one for adapting the way of working to AI, because you basically change the way you do the way you work. You have the former way of working by humans to perform inspections, and then machines, AI can work differently, and you need to understand that and align your processes to a new reality. So this is the hard environment situation we typically find when it comes to train and deploy solutions based on AI for visual inspection. So Àlex, can you please? So basically, here's what we do in these kind of environments. So first of all, we need to have AI models that are easy to train, for which we need less images to train, that we can train using a friendly user environment, and in which you can try many different strategies, and in which your focus is on not just on the deep learning, machine learning, this kind of approaches. It's more on how to curate data, how to select, to pick the right data, how to create the best data set with enough consistency in order to train the best models. Knowing that this first version of the model is not the last one, you will probably need more rounds of training models, more probably during the life cycle or the use of the application, the end-to-end application. You will need to refine those models, and for that you need the right tool. And then if you have the model, you have nothing, basically. You have just the basis. Then you need to deploy those models somewhere. And the thing is that if you want to make actionable those models, you need to provide a foundational platform in which to run those models and which should integrate with other solutions, different solutions of the company, and a platform that needs to accommodate many different types of applications or usage of those models. And then that would be great if that's the last part of our application of AI models and the end-to-end platform. But the thing is that typically there are more mechanical, electrical components needed by our solutions. And that's where we can combine with different areas, different skills in order to provide the end-to-end solution, which is what we call the automation platform. And that's the way we do believe that we make AI actionable. When we go from AI models, easy to train, and we go to a platform in which we deploy with enough flexibility those models, and then we automate processes, combining different technologies and skills. So the thing is that we are here today because the way we do this, Àlex, can you please move to next slide, is this one. We have, first of all, landing lengths in which we train those models and provide us with the flexibility and consistency and accuracy of those models in order to make this task, this job, financially feasible. Otherwise, it's not a great job. And then once we train those models and we can do that with reduced set of images, and we when that is ready and we can train many times as much as needed, even when we are live. Once that is those models are trained, we can deploy, and that's where another platform we built over the last 3 years. NGLens, next one, Àlex. Thanks. That's where our platform NGLens comes in order to deploy those models and with flexibility to provide or to address many different use cases. Can you please, Àlex, next slide? So I just wanted to, before moving to a small a demo we prepared, I would like to say that every single project related to changing the way we perform visual inspections is a project in which you need to address 2 parts. One is the technology itself. There are different buzzwords you can find here. We typically use in our projects. That's the left side of the slide. But then the right side of the slide is also key. And the thing is that we need to change our mindset. We need to change procedures. We need to change guidelines. We need to change the way we approach inspections. So now that we employ AI, because otherwise, if we don't do that, we are not going to get all the benefits we can get from the application of AI. We need to train people in a different way. Okay. So with new skills and for a new job. So that's also key, and that's part of what we do little by little when we enter in these kind of collaborations with our clients. Can you please next to? Thanks. Right. So basically, what you can expect from these kind of applications of AI to visual inspection is it depends, for sure. That's a typical answer. It depends on the case, but typically you can find that you reduce a lot the time to market in order to have a feasible running solution for visual inspection using AI compared to doing that from scratch. Also, you can expect between 10 to 15 more accuracy than what you can fine if you use models from scratch. And the thing is that, and this is key, this is that the next building block is for us is very it's impressive. What we found there is that once the platform is ready and people is using models, and the two platforms, I mean, landing links and ng links, when they use those models, many ideas pop up. And that's key because you can address many other issues, challenges related to inspections that otherwise, without having this platform, maybe you don't identify ever. So that's, for me, that's a real benefit we came across during our projects. And then the TCO is typically up to half lower than before. And then what about the benefits for the business themselves, not just from using this platform, the technical benefits? So in terms of businesses, it depends, of course, on what you are trying to achieve. But typically, it's not just a matter of less cost, less time to perform inspection, which is, and even sometimes it's even more accurate than humans, because if you need to perform millions of inspections, humans are not the best machines doing that. But besides that, what you can identify is that using these kind of solutions, you find that your inspection process is more responsive. You can perform as many times as you need, and then you have always running surveillance solutions, and with enough flexibility for performing visual inspection. So there are many benefits from the technical point of view of using this approach to visual inspection based on AI with these platforms, but also for the benefits depending on the case you're trying to on the case you are working on. There are for sure different benefits. Okay, so Àlex, can you? Yeah, so these are just examples I already mentioned before. Maybe I can go to I can share my screen and show you what we are doing with an example. Let me go back.
We have 1 minute, Marcus, right?
Yeah, I know. Good. So I'm trying to share my screen now. Here it is. Okay, I guess you can see my screen.
Yes.
Now. So basically, this is the NGINX platform. Once we train the models, we deploy them here. The thing is that typically, this is just an example. You come here, you can drag and drop, for example, if you want just to perform one single inspection of one image, or you can here and write all the different information you need for performing the inspection and select the type of inspection you want to perform. For example, this one of bottles anomaly, the missing bottles in this case. So you can enter here information, and in the end, you start the inspection, and then afterwards you can see the results of the inspection. For example, this one we created for this webinar, in which we were trying to identify different taps from bottles from of Coca-Cola. So basically, this is just for you to know about to see our platform with what we created. This you see here is just the front of our platform. I don't know if this is really useful, because the most important thing of our platform is the backend, in which we are able to create pipelines of different models, in which we can somehow handle the images, perform different processing of the images, in order to go to the inference stages of the solution, and then provide the end results of the inspections. But this is just for demo purposes. Before before deploying these models here in our platform, what we use is basically something that Carl will show now, which is that we train the models using landing lanes. You see on the right, Carl will tell you more about this. The performance achieved by this model is quite straightforward for us to train the models and come up with models we can deploy in the cloud or on premises. It all depends on the specific needs, and that they can be invoked somehow with quite easily. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Marcos, as well for your detailed presentation. And I think that helped us to imagine the tangible part of innovation in terms of what we were talking before. It makes sense when you have the opportunity to apply direct to the business need and measure the results as you. Okay, and now, Carl, it's your turn. And Carl is the Senior Director of Partnership at Landing AI. He has responsibility for global relationship with the Capgemini and together, and help solve customers' most challenging problems with the application of new innovation solution. And he has over 25 years of experience designing and deploying computer vision systems for clients across many industries, including manufacturing. And today he's going to discover how Landing's AI solutions and domain-specific large vision models can be applied to real-world scenarios. And Cal, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Àlex. Yeah, that's quite the intro. So first of all, just like to express my gratitude for the partnership with Capgemini. We've worked together for past 3 years. Worked on lots of really interesting use cases. Bringing solutions to market quickly. So very grateful for the partnership. Grace, I think you're going to share the slides, right? Share your screen.
Yes, I will do it. Give me 1 second.
So as we're bringing up the slides, so just as Àlex said, my experience is 26 years of deploying computer vision projects. My background is in automation. I deployed my first vision project back in the mid-90s. And at that time, the solution offerings in the market was pretty limited. Compute was expensive. Generally, rule-based computer vision solutions were available. And I remember my first deployment, which was inspecting potato waffles in a food and beverage factory. And so I would be on the production line as an intern, wiring up a camera, wiring up a trigger sensor, trying to acquire many images, and then figure out a specific rule that would classify the images good and bad, and then we'd have a reject that rejects the bad waffle off the line. Now that would take months to deploy because a lot of subjectivity, and so maybe I can use some of those experiences to just set a little bit of context around what we're doing differently here. So just a little bit of background on Landing AI. So Landing AI helps companies build, deploy, and scale computer vision solutions. So irrespective of your background, you don't need to be a machine learning engineer or a data scientist. We can help you build those models quickly and with ease and accelerate that speed to value and translate it into business value as quickly as possible. So since 2017, we've been really focused on industrial automation and manufacturing, and we have developed a platform called Landing Lens. And Landing Lens enables customers to upload images, label images, train models, and generally in industrial automation and manufacturing, there aren't that many images available. And so with very few images, we have been able to unlock that value for customers being able to build high-performing models quickly, as Marcus mentioned with his example that he showed. So that has really been our focus, and on those limited data sets. But what we found over time is customers, as subjectivity of applications increase, and quite a few customers have not just a small limited data set, they have many images. And when I say many, that could be millions or billions of images that they've archived over a period of time. And so now what we're finding in these industries, and these high value industries, is that we can now use those images to give us insights into the application and build domain specific large vision models to help train even higher performing models than Landing Lens before. So today we would like to share with you some of those experiences, and enabling customers to get those insights faster. Next slide. Okay, so just a little bit of context around Landing Lens. So you can find Landing Lens, a link to the platform on our website. And if you think about Landing Lens, we break it down into really 3 buckets. And these buckets, I think, illustrate the task in deploying a vision solution really well. So, the first thing we need to think about is our images. What kind of images do we have? Where are they? How many do we have? And we need to sort the images, right? We need to prepare the images. And to do that, we have a number of different tools to manage that data. So if you look in Landing Lens, we have user-friendly labeling tools, we have label books, we have agreement-based labeling. So, if there are multiple stakeholders involved in a project, we can generate that consensus amongst our stakeholders, so we can define what is a good part, what is a bad part, and prepare that data really well. And then we get to model training, where we can train a model with a click of a button. We have all that fine tuning functionality, which is done behind the scenes. So you don't have to be a machine learning engineer to do that. You get the model results, and you can compare, you can contrast and analyze the model results relative to the images that you introduce. So it could be that you hold back some images and you want to test the performance, and you want to make sure that the model is performing well on unseen images. And then when you're ready to deploy, as Marco said, you can deploy using a cloud endpoint or an edge device, or to landing edge, or to a Docker container. So lots of flexibility in how you deploy. So tying it back to my experience, in the mid-90s, you'd have all those images, and you have to manually tune and optimize a rule-based algorithm that's working correctly on all your hundreds and thousands of images. So we make that process a lot easier and simpler, which means that you can get through your prototyping and testing a lot faster, and you can deploy sooner, which means that you translate that into actionable AI and business value. Next slide. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about LVMs, so large vision models. Everyone's talking about AI. Lots of talk about large language models and the value they can bring. but we're very proud to introduce LVMs, which is new technology that we introduced in the past December, and we've started to have some really good traction and some really interesting projects that we're working on. So essentially, what it means is that with an LVM, we're using customers' images. So, for example, if I have 2 million images of PCBs that you can see on the left, I want to train a specific foundation model that represents the full subjectivity of my application. So these images should be representative and relevant, which makes it domain specific for my application. So it should represent the full variation and subjectivity in my application. Once I've trained that and it requires no labels, the model is looking the interrelationship with all the different features in my image and looking for the comparison of those images. Once we have that foundation model trained, we can then pull it into Landing Lens, and then we can use our standard vision application tools like segmentation, object detection, or classification to fine-tune our model, which means that we need to do less labeling, right? So we're not labeling 2 million images. We may be labeling a few of all our different classes. And it means that we're also able to achieve much higher accuracy because we have a foundation model that looks at the full variation of the application, which drives higher accuracy. Next slide. Okay, so we missed one. Okay, so just an example of some of the techniques that we can use, and this is one of the vision techniques that we use. So this is single shot learning. So we're essentially drawing graphical representation on our image. So in this example, which I'll show a demo in a second, instead of labeling hundreds of thousands of images or millions of images, with a foundation model, I'm able to label just a few images, could be 3 or 4 images, and show the model, okay, what is the background? What is a cell? And then it will train my model based on the knowledge it has acquired when we train the foundation model. So this greatly accelerates the prototyping process. You spend less time labeling, but also you can achieve much higher accuracy results. So I think that gets us into the demo. And I think we're on track for time. So let me go to demo here. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen. Okay, so if you go to Landing AI, you will see, and you sign up for, let's say, a free trial, you'll see this as a welcome page. So at the top here, you'll see a number of applications that you can play with. So if I click here, these are pre-trained models. So if I click on this detect wildfires, you'll see all the training data that was used to train a model. And if you choose, you can do live inferences here, and you can run a prediction, from the images. It's nice to understand, what is possible, some of the applications that are possible. But what we'll look at here, how to start a project. So if I am a brand new user, I've never used this before, there is a specific flow to how you build an application. So upload images, label images, train, and then you're in prediction. So that could be a cloud endpoint. That could be download the model to Landing Edge, which is the name of our Edge app, which goes on an IPC or an Edge device, or you could use a Docker deployment as well. So let's take a look at what that entails. So I hit create project, and I have different types of projects I can use to build my application. So I have object detection, where I'm looking to identify objects in a scene, and I'm drawing and labeling using a bounded box. And then once the model finds the object, it'll report the 4 corners, the 4 pixel corners, and it will give me a JSON file as well. So it could be that I'm detecting cars in a parking lot, or I'm detecting defects in an object. That's the first project. Second project, segmentation. So this is where I'm precisely drawing masks on an image. So I'm literally drawing on the image to help the model classify the image. So this could be an application where, let's say we're using, and I saw it in Marx's presentation, could be trying to segment a thermal camera, looking for the heat pattern of an object, looking for the different temperature ratings in a thermal camera. Classification. This is a project where it could be that a customer uploads images that are already labeled as being one class or another. And then visual prompting, which I showed you in the presentation. This is where you label a few areas of the image with a paintbrush, and then you hit the train button, and it will, train your image set. So let's take a look at a few projects here that I prepared earlier. So let's take a look at this one. So this is a classification project. So this is actually a electric battery battery cells. So these images were already uploaded, classified good or bad. But you can see here the heat map. So this is a laser displacement sensor. So it looks at the topography of the battery cell. If you look at this heat map, the colors represent the change in height. Can't do much with that, and it doesn't really represent something when you look at it visually. But when you turn the heat map on, you can see which pixels were activated by the model, right? So then once you've classified good or bad, if this was on a production line, you would send a signal. It could be to a reject or stop the conveyor, whatever it is, to remove this object from the line. So let's take a look at some other ones here. So here's one for object detection, metal casting. We've uploaded 7,000 images here. We've labeled, and then we've hit the train button, and we've created a model, and then you can see the predictions that we get back. Some kind of defect. It could be damage or a scratch or those kind of things. So let's take a look at visual prompting, and we'll do this live. So you can see here I've got my Petri dish, and let's see, let's click here, and so it's already been labeled. So I'm gonna get rid of these labels. I'm going to label the cells. Okay. And I'm going to label the background. Okay, I'm going to label the background. And I'm going to hit the run button. So it'll take a few seconds. And what's going to happen now is that it's going to give me a model that is going to also give me predictions on the unlabeled images, right? So if you imagine if you had thousands, hundred thousands, millions of images, I could label all those images, right, with only labeling one or two. So that helps accelerate the prototyping process, testing the model performance, but also accelerating your time to value and getting to that actionable AI that Marcos talked about. So I think we're on time still. So Grace, I'll stop sharing. I think we're going to the next slide.
Yeah, let me share some user story. Marco, you wanna give any?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Carl. We are running a little short of time, but nevertheless, I think we will all agree that solutions like this have transformed the business, no, putting that value in the business as innovation wants to become, without doubt. And now, Marcos, it's time to listen the recorded testimonials to understand how this solution help us, our customers, to improve their business. And yeah, maybe 3 minutes.
Yep.
And yeah, okay, Marcos or Grace, I don't know.
Grace.
Yeah, Grace.
Correct.
Currently, we're leveraging the potential of AI combined with other technologies to address a diverse range of daily visual inspection challenges in different industries. Problems that were traditionally approached manually and involve recurring inspections. That's something that you have to have a look over and over again. This includes infrastructure inspection projects, for example, defect detections in production lines, and even analysis related to healthcare, like tubes or racks, etc.
We are using computer vision to detect defects in our networks. As an electricity distribution company, we have to guarantee the good condition of the network from a supply point of view, but also from a security point of view. We carry out a visual inspection program that allows us to capture images of our assets, and we use AI for processing.
In our case, visual inspection of images conducted by a human is time-consuming and does not allow for a stable traceability of inspection quality, or maybe involves significant increase in cost. However, AI is not a magical solution. It requires careful upfront planning for training and subsequent reliability analysis. This post-analysis must be periodically reviewed to ensure that the conditions for which we train the model have not changed. If they have changed, we need to assess whether an update to the model is necessary.
We see many advantages in using this technology, but for us, without a doubt, the most relevant are the accuracy achieved in the result compared to the one obtained with human review, and the time savings compared to manual process. Using AI allows us to have a more precise knowledge of the status of assets in the shortest possible time. It also allows us to reduce human errors that identify problems that don't exist or ignore existing problems, which results in cost and time savings and an increased quality of supply.
While it's evident that research forms the foundation for the functionality of these projects, just as a human requires specialization to perform a task thoroughly, adapting AI to address real-world problems is what truly adds value.
From my point of view, I believe that it is more efficient and effective to focus on use cases, since this allows us to identify the specific shortcomings of the technology in each case and avoids the dispersion that would prevent achieving short-term goals. I believe that this approach represents a sustainable evolution adapted to the real needs of the companies.
The automotive sector has always been an innovative agent, incorporating the latest technology in the search for efficiency and quality. In our continuous innovation projects to provide solutions to the sector, we have developed our Endurance visual inspection solution. Thanks to leading-edge deep learning knowledge and our experienced vision system and IT/OT integration, we are able to offer a unique solution on the market, capable of integrating into current systems and scaling, becoming the software platform that can centralize current use cases and deploy new ones in different types of processes: welding, stamping, painting, assembly, storage, and materials, metal, plastic, foams, fabrics. Our commitment is to offer a robust platform that allows different use cases to be articulated, centralizing visual inspection operations, and thus generating efficiencies with which to achieve ROE.
Yes, great. Great. Okay. Exactly. Yes, we have 5 minutes left. I'm happy because we have some questions from the public and to our speakers, and allow me to pick them up. But unfortunately, we have no enough time to answer them all now. But I promise that we will do it once we finish the webinar, and we will send you the answer, right? And let me take some of them here and questions and answer. For example, the first one it's how do you get pictures to train the model with lending AI for real projects? Do you use drones or similar devices to take your own images, or do you recommend a specific public data sets to train the models? Any of you wants to
Marcus, do you
answer?
want to take that?
Yeah, I can. So actually, what we use is, I mean, we take pictures from real assets or real products, whatever you need to inspect, because otherwise using data sets, standard data sets you can find in GitHub. I don't know if that's the question, but if you use standard data sets, there's no, I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, the value is in using real data and curate that kind of those kind of images.
So just to add what Marcus said, yeah, the real value is using real images. So, if it's from a drone, we can take images from the camera that's on the drone. If it's on a production line, we can take images from industrial camera. If it's a cell phone, we can take images from a cell phone. Whatever the image source is, it could be 2D, 3D, it could be X-ray, it could be CAT scan. As long as you have an image and the images represent, the subjectivity related to the use case, then we can create a model.
Correct. And the source of that image, usually for training, we go to the cameras, we take those pictures and train the model with them. Afterwards, for inferencing, live application, the source can be a streaming of images, video, camera. It depends. You can take pictures from helicopters or drones. It depends on the problem you are trying to address.
Okay. Okay, next one. Training domain-specific models, as mentioned, with 2 million images, wouldn't labeling be a manual labor-intensive job? Are there tools for those?
Great question. So with the domain-specific large vision model, we're training a foundation model, and that requires unlabeled images. So the way the foundation model works is that it looks at the interrelationship between the different features in each image, and it creates training signals. So once we have that foundation model trained, we can then import it into Landing Lens and use that as a source for our fine-tuning of our models. So to answer the question, no labeling is needed for those 2 million images.
Okay. And yes, and another one, what if we don't have data scientists or people to do labeling or using Landing Lens? Can Landing or Capgemini provide services to build defect detection and real-time integration?
Yeah, in fact, that's what we do. We are responsible for going to the site, analyze the situation there, and then we are responsible also for, it depends on helping, or maybe we take our images ourselves, we deploy the cameras. So we do all that job in order to get all the pictures we need to train the models, and that's a part of our job.
Okay.
And then concerning the labeling, if you have large data sets to label, that's a real problem. The thing is that you need a reduced set of images for training our models. Typically, we are able to train sophisticated models with no more than 2,000 images. If you need more images to train, then there's maybe Car can tell us more about that. But there's a new kind of tool or approach proposed by Landing AI related to labeling, prompting, which can help a lot.
Okay, it's 6 p.m. It's time to say goodbye. And again, thank you so much for joining with us today. Thank you to the 50 people connected today, and especially thank you, Grace, for your excellent work of coordination, and thank you for the technical team for their support. Bye, and see you next time.
Yep. Thank you for joining, everyone. And special thank you to all the speakers. And please check out the capgemini.com as well as landing.ai to learn about more and check out upcoming event. Thank you.